2014 order. Roll call, please.
Joe,
Here.
Neil,
Here.
Ralph,
Here.
Kathy, Bill, Mary Jane. Here.
All right, we're going to amend the agenda here a little bit, so we get Susan up first in case she needs somewhere else to be.
No, I don't tonight.
If you don't, well, we'll let you go first anyway. How's
I
that?
had somebody make me an offer, but I turned it down. Good evening. I got a couple things to talk about this evening. The biggest thing I think on our plate at the moment has to do with the CDBG program. The applications are due to the county on the 21st. And I think you guys have already discussed a couple different projects, and you kind of decided on trying to do the end of West Cherry Street that wasn't part of the Ohio Public Works Commission grant that we received. If you want to take one of these and pass it on, basically what I'm giving you is the cost estimate to do everything from Jefferson Street down to wherever the curb sidewalk is. And this will be the replacement of the curb and the sidewalk, and then wedging it back in anticipation of the ODOT paving that will occur, I believe, still in 2016. This includes removal of the existing sidewalk, putting sidewalk back in kind of a little further, but there's a couple gaps in there. We'll remove the existing curb and put the curb back in. It also includes at least one stump that needs to be removed. We'll redo everybody's concrete driveways through there, and then we'll rebuild the street and put a surface wedge back in there of asphalt. We will have one curb ramp with the ADA blind truncated domes that'll be installed. It also includes reseeding of any of the areas that were disturbed. The estimated cost of that's $40,000, and engineering $8,000, so I estimated it at $48,000, and usually they don't like to pay for the engineering, so I kind of showed your share as being the $8,000 and the grant being the $40,000. I guess my feeling is, and my angle with this is, in trying to sell this to the commissioners, is that we've got, the big part of it in this Ohio Public Works Commission grant, and that you would be willing to wait until next year to do that project if we could combine this with it, because I think you could probably save some money on this by combining it, because we could fit it together like we have other projects in town, and, be able to save some money.
Using the
And-
asphalt.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you can use it for asphalt, somewhere else in town, or, if you're in a situation where you just really don't want to spend the money, maybe we can even work it out where you can keep some of the match. So with that being the case, that's kind of where we are. I did ask Jane last week to look at your budget to see what she thought you guys could afford. The other thing that we kind of need to talk about in conjunction with this is the first phase of West Cherry Street. And you probably received a letter, if you haven't, I have, that says it will be funded on July the 1st. I don't know if you've gotten a letter here yet or not, but I have a letter, probably in my briefcase over there. So the grant agreement will be here on July the 1st, so we can begin the work and do it this year, or we can wait and do it next year. And I kind of mentioned that to Jana, just thinking about what you needed to do as far as your match. And being able to budget that into this year, next year, both. We need to kind of be in a position where we can try to have the thing bid by December, because that was the schedule that we had put forth to get the extra 5 bonus points. But we can do it so that they really wouldn't do most of the construction until next year, or which would be 2050. Think about what you're doing. And then that way you can kind of delay some of the match if they need to. So I guess that's really kind of a call you need to make. So
That
that
would be a
is
smart thing to do, I think. Let
yeah.
that go.
If we will know about whether or not this part of the project will be funded before you even get the money in July, and we'll probably know by May. So at that point, we can make some decisions too. That if we do, then obviously we definitely want to wait and bid it together. And if we don't, then there's really no advantage to waiting. So I guess, what questions do you have about
Jamie, we had that budgeted for this year, did we not?
We budgeted 25,000 for the Cherry Street for 2015, is what we did. Because we were only gonna do like 8 or 9. But we bumped it up just in case for the levy in 2015. So we did 25,000.
And your match is, I believe, 71.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do the rest of that in 2015.
The match is 71, the grant's 200,000. Here's a copy of the letter that says, this was sent to you, Rick. It says,
What?
Dear Mr. Van Winkle. Well, it's kind of strange because it's like addressed to me, but it says, Dear you. I'm not sure what the deal is there. Maybe it was actually supposed to go to you instead of me. I'm not sure. That's the letter that says, congratulations, you're going to get money.
I don't recall seeing
Okay,
it.
I'll get you a copy. I'll get you a copy of it.
I could have, and then I'll.
I know. I'll get you a copy of it in that way.
Isn't it just the same?
Huh?
Isn't it the same, like going to you?
Yeah, same thing.
Because
Yeah.
you're going to tell us what we're going
Then
to do
you're
anyway.
getting $200,000 on July 1st.
So Susan, if we get both projects, we're going to need 79 if we're trying to combine.
You would need 79, but what I'm hoping is that maybe because we combine it
If we combine
together,
it,
then we can save some money.
So that'd be for 2015.
Right. And so you could use.
As long as we
budget-
do the bid before December, correct?
Well, if we get into a situation where we use CDBG money, I'll need to make sure Kim's okay with that because she has an environmental that she does and she doesn't usually have that finished so that we can finish up till February. But I think she can do enough of environmental just to release this one project, and it's what they call a categorical exclusion, so there's really no work to do on it anyway. So I'm sure I can work that out with her.
In the past, that's pretty well worked out away anyway.
Yeah, I didn't know how trouble before, so. But we would need to try to, the way our public works applications was submitted is that we would have the project bid before the end of the year. And you got an extra 5 points if you did it that way, so we kind of need to try to stay with that.
But if they don't let us combine the two projects, then there's no benefit to waiting, correct?
No, there's not. Other than if we need to, on a financial end, where you're concerned as far as trying to get
Match.
money out of 2 budget years, which, you know, we can make that work. Because your match is 26%, so even if they got started doing something, the majority of your money wouldn't be paid out until 2015 anyway. So,
You don't see any reason why they wouldn't let us combine it, or,
oh, neither one of the funding sources will care.
so we probably need to get it bid out in December.
Well, as long as we're bidding it, you know, then we take it in December, we should be fine. I don't want to wait too long because you get past December 15th and everybody's thinking about Christmas and nobody wants to bid anything and you don't really get that good numbers. So I probably want to bid it like either the 1st of December or maybe like right before Thanksgiving. I did a job this year that was a $1.5 million street job and it came in at 1.2 million. I did $300,000. Pretty good. So, anyway, not, you know, so I think we can make that work. Obviously, bidding it in the right time of the year can make a big difference.
Council's wishes?
We already have 25,000 already budgeted, so we need to appropriate.
Well, you have 51 for the 71, and then 8, so you need 59 for 2015.
Or if you end up doing the one project this year, you're gonna need an additional 46.
If you do, which
And
project?
The big one.
Just the.
Well, even if we just did the big one, you probably wouldn't, because we would still make it so that
Only 15.
you didn't actually construct it till 15. We can push it off that long to help you budget-wise. That would be a problem.
Either or, it's best to just all off the 25th.
Right. I think so. Because right now, you're gonna kind of miss the best time of the bidding season, and you can't award something until after July 1st. And by then,
Puts us
everybody's
into
slates
the
are
year.
kind of full, and I don't think you get the best numbers, to be honest.
In the spring, they'll be hungry.
Yes, they will. And usually November, December is when they kind of, people
Well,
are
that's
closing
just
out
what you're saying,
jobs.
for spring.
Yep.
Get
Yep.
ready for spring.
Absolutely. I have 2 jobs I got out from the drink
Yeah.
for that day.
Anyone else? So if we're going with this, then we need a
You need a resolution.
motion or resolution.
I think you need to probably make well, you can probably just pass the resolution if you like. I left a blank on the map, only to fill that in, because I wasn't sure exactly what you wanted to do, so I didn't want to bring a resolution. I just brought a couple copies, so I don't maybe share. I didn't want to put in an amount, obviously, because I wasn't sure exactly what you wanted to do. I didn't want to have to scratch stuff out, I'd rather just fill stuff in, so.
What you want to put in for the resolution?
Would be, well, if you're okay with it, it'd be the 8,000.
8,000.
That's at least $8,000.
Yes. Same,
What about this up here?
same number.
Same number?
Everywhere.
Everywhere, 8,000.
This would be resolution number what?
2015-5.
Let me read.
I'm going to have a motion on it first from council. If, I'll need a motion for resolution 2014-5.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 2014-5.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Go ahead, Bill, if you like.
Resolution resolution to apply for community development block grant through Trumbull County, Ohio Commissioners for the West Cherry Street reconstruction project and budgeting of at least $8,000 in matching funds from the Village of New Paris for the calendar year of 2015 and declare an emergency. That whereas a community development block grant is potentially available through the Office of the Trumbull County, Ohio Commissioners allocation program for street improvements, and whereas at least $8,000 in matching funds may be required from the Village of New Paris to receive and said grant. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of New Paris, Trumbull County, Ohio, as follows. Section 1, application for a grant to the Trumbull County, Ohio Commissioners for a street improvement project on West Cherry Street in the Village of New Paris, Ohio, is hereby authorized and is consent of the mayor to sign all documents necessary on behalf of the village to carry out said application. Section 2, that at least $8,000 in matching funds from the Village of New Paris, Ohio, are hereby authorized to be budgeted for the calendar year of 2015 in order to assist in the improvement. Section 3, this resolution is hereby declared to be an emergency measure to take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage to meet the community development block grant deadline.
Need a motion to accept.
I move that we accept resolution 2014-5.
Roll call, please.
Neil?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Need a motion to declare emergency and forego the three reading rule.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Bill?
The other thing I have is, you received, you can want to go ahead and sign one of those for me. You guys received a email from ODOT in regards to the fact that they're going to replace the bridge out here on Walnut Street. I don't know if you discussed that.
Yeah, we discussed it last meeting.
And we've had an email this week from them, and apparently, that made my whole word. Apparently, at some time in the past, they have misnamed that bridge. And it's on Walnut Street, so it should be W-A-L-U-T. And instead, it's C-A-L-U-T, but nobody knows why. Or at least that's my understanding. So before they get started with this project, that they're paying 100% to replace that bridge, they wanted to offer you the ability to change the name, because I think they want the name changed. And what we have to do to do that is we have to fill out this form right here, and you have to have an engineer do it. And it's not a big deal, we just have to fill it out and change the name to Walnut instead of Colnut. I don't know why they do it, it's just a typo, that's all it was. But in order to fix it, you have to do this form. So I guess I just want to make sure that that's what you want to have done, and so we'll take care of this.
Why didn't you mention it?
Because I can't do something like that without you saying it's okay.
Come on, Sue.
So I guess I just wanted to make sure everybody was
Yes.
aware of it and didn't have any problem with it.
We need a motion for that.
Go ahead.
Need a
Let's
motion?
make a motion, we change the name from Colnut to Walnut.
Second.
And it's done by Moat Associates.
Engineering. Second.
Roll call, please.
Joe,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Bill, Mary Jane.
The other thing, I do have an update on the Washington Street, East Main Street project. I finally did get some numbers back from ProGrade. And I'm okay with all the numbers except for one, and so we're dealing with them on that. It has to do with some extra non-reinforced concrete pavement that they want to charge us for, that I think is the Bud Reed tear out, which they poured it wrong, we're not paying for it. So based on where we're at with those numbers, it looks like we're probably going to have $14,000 left. I know there's about $3,300 of cost for that sanitary lateral that the village pays for, that we can use towards your match if we want to, which would, decrease the $1,400. But we can do a reimbursement back to you, or you can just, chalk it up as your match, and then, whatever we would pay ProGrade would be that much less, because Public Works would pay that much more of it. And so then I guess at that point, then we need to decide if, there's about, $10,000 to $11,000 left. What, do you want to do something with it? If you do, we need to change orders and really into the contract at this point in time. You can't really go through something else.
Can you use that money toward our other projects?
If you don't use it, about 25% of it would be yours to keep, and 75% of it would be grant money that they would keep. So if it's $10,000, $2,500 of it would be released, and you wouldn't have to use it, as match to the project, and $7,500, they would just reallocate to another project and it would go back to the district. So.
When do we have to have a decision on what to do with the other 10,000?
Well, I hope to have a change order for you at your meeting in April with ProGrade to finalize the adjustment of quantity. So I guess at that point, it would be kind of nice to know what you think you want to do, and then I can talk with ProGrade about, what you want to do and being able to bring through the contract. And by then, maybe we'll actually be able to see what's on the ground and up.
So the option is to have them hold on to it and do some more follow-up work, or?
It's not really theirs, it's just out here.
Right.
So but I guess what I'm saying, unless you wanted to do, I know there was some discussion, I think maybe one time about maybe doing some trees. If you wanted to replant some trees, we could probably just go to a landscape type place and, figure out what kind of trees we want that won't disturb the sidewalk and the curb, and then buy the trees from them and have them plant them, and we wouldn't have to worry about ProGrade at all if if you wanted to do some additional sidewalk or something like that, then we would run back through Kroger and use their unit prices. But if you wanted to do something like, like a tree idea, then you wouldn't have to do that.
How soon do we need to spend that money to move forward?
I would like to try to have it closed out by June, just because technically you're not supposed to have these grants open for more than 2 years. And usually July 1st is kind of their cycle date, so it would be nice if we could have it closed out by June. So we have a little bit of time, not, it's not going to hurt anything else if we don't have it closed out. But I think for goodwill purposes, it gives you some time to maybe figure out what you want to do, but you can't drag it out.
And it's, the total is 14,000?
14,000. So,
And
Yeah.
14,000 unless you want to take out the 3 that we spent on that
Yeah.
up there, and then you're back down to
I
around
think you
10.
had, there was $3,300, it was to the Markley excavating.
Markley, yes.
And I have
$3,000.
copies of the bills that were paid by the village, along with copies of the checks that came in, that we can use to either get you reimbursed or to use for the grant. So that money would be used. So I guess, we don't have to decide anything tonight. I really just more wanted to bring you an update of where things were at, and the fact that, they did finally get something from Kroger, and we're working towards a change order that will approve it your April meeting. And then by then, maybe you guys can give it some thought and kind of think about what you might want to do. If you want to spend the rest of the money, what costs you have, so we can get some, prices on something. Obviously, if there's anything related to, sidewalk or things like that, we can measure it up and pretty much figure out on the unit prices of Kroger, because those prices are so good. So we can still utilize those prices. Okay. All right. The last thing I have has to do with extension of utilities out to State Route 40. And I know there's some interest in that. I know Neil's talked to me about it. I know that Shonda Combs has mentioned it, that you guys were interested in, that she had some meetings, I believe, with the commissioners about it. And I guess I'm thinking what we need to do to move forward is maybe have a committee, and I think Neil's kind of has been maybe heading that up. 1 or 2, maybe 3 people, and we can sit down and try to look at some funding avenues. We can meet with the township trustees to try to figure out, what kind of assistance they might be able to give to the project to make it kind of a team effort, so that new pairs isn't kind of out there, trying to do this by themselves when other people are going to benefit, and try to see, how we can pull a team together to try to make this work, and then everybody, bears a little accountability to moving it forward and supporting it, and, doing the right thing.
That's on their step, and for the JED anyway.
Right. So if that's okay with you, that would be my suggestion of how we should move forward. If we want to meet just, 2 or 3 people from the village and me, and we can kind of talk about it. I've got numbers that we did, before. We looked at those numbers. They're generally, pretty fair as far as they haven't changed that much. If you want to start meeting right away with the township trustees, that's fine. If you think it's better to have just a brief meeting where we talk about things and we know what our position is as a village first, that's fine. I guess I do have a meeting with Shonda on Wednesday morning and meeting about something unrelated. So, I can always, kind of see how she wants to play into this.
Yeah, I'd like to have meet with the committee here first, and then go from there. And when we got some numbers that we know we can work with, and then meet with the township and get their feelings on the matter and see whether we're moving forward or whether this issue's dead one way or the other. But Shonda has thrown it in our lap. She's no longer going to try and do anything else until she hears from us. So it's up to us to make some decisions now as to the direction. And we need some type of numbers to know whether we can even possibly do it. So that's what we asked Susan to do for us. So.
And I had numbers that that I had done a long time ago, and then we kind of updated those numbers in 2013, and there were a couple different options. in regards to the water line, the extension of the sewer was going to be about 1.5 million, and then the water was going to be anywhere from 1.6 to 1.2.
Yeah, it's
There were some different options.
3.1 to 3.5 to do the project, but basically what we were asking for, just looking for some grant money out there to possibly offset the contribution that would have to be made between the three of the entities, the village and the township and the commissioners. So,
I mean, I think there's a couple of things we could do. One, we could look at maybe seeing if we could get a capital earmark, from the state budget, and that's on a biennial basis, where they would kind of put some money towards it. I think it's going to take a package deal. Rural development has some funding available for water and sewer. We used them before with the water system. They do a grant combination. Maybe something where, the commissioners may have to see if they can ante up something. The biggest thing is a lot of the money is not available until you get somebody on the hook.
Yes.
So this makes it a little more difficult because you're kind of doing that build it and they will come method. So it's one of those things that, maybe you want to look at, sewer is usually a bigger deal than water. You can drill a well, you know what I'm saying? But the sewer part becomes the big expensive thing that a lot of times derails a project, and we may want to look at it as a whole, then we may want to look at it in pieces.
And that's why they upgraded the system out here in Buchanan. Put in the other drawing beds to anticipate what was going to do anyway.
So, with that being the case, that may be something that we want to look at, just kind of depending on how many players there are. I do have some, and Shonda has connections with the Dayton Development Coalition to see if there's something, down that road that maybe we could utilize. I think it's just about exploring some options. There's obviously loan money out there to do this, but, loans have to be paid back, and that money has to come from somewhere, and you've got to try to figure out how much is it worth. If it's a team effort and everybody's sharing in the, the expense and the cost, it's a lot easier to swallow than if, Newkirk has to swallow it all. So I think that's just, where we need to start to try exploring, what options are out there, who the players are, who's willing to step up to the plate, and be accountable and be part of it. And then once we figure that out, then I think we can know how to move forward.
okay, sounds good.
So if you want to set up, let me know what days work for you guys, let me know. And, I know this week will work, but after this week, things are quite
I don't think we're
Okay.
looking on vacation.
Yeah, I'll be going next week, but after that, then we'll sit down, we'll select a committee and
That'd be
get all stuff we need. So,
That'd be great. So, that's kind of what I'm thinking is, how we need to move forward, try to start exploring this and see where the players are. Fair
Okay,
enough.
yep.
Okay, that's all I have, unless you have any other questions for me.
Anything else? I don't. Thank you,
Okay,
Susan, very
you're very
much.
welcome, thank you.
Thank you, Susan. You can, if you'd like, you can,
All right, I might just do
Yes.
that.
start a lengthy meeting here, so. All right, if everyone's had a chance to look at the minutes from the February meeting, I need a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Kathy? Yes. Bill? Mary Jane? Yes.
If everyone's had a chance, I need approval for the warrants and payroll time sheets, please.
So moved.
For a second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Kathy? Yes. Bill? Mary Jane? Yes.
Need approval of the transfer of the police revenue from the general fund to the police fund.
I move that transfer be made.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane? Yes. Bill? Kathy?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Need approval of the police fund monthly operating fund transfer, please. Roll call, please.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill? Ralph?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Joe?
Thank you, Susan. Need approval of the interest transfer, please.
Move that the interest be transferred to the appropriate funds.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Bill?
Okay, committee reports, chief.
The police department handled 60 calls for service in February. We took 6 reports, issued 1 citation, 5 warning, and impounded 1 vehicle. A couple things I'd like to bring up is tornado sirens. They're normally tested the first Saturday of every month. Throughout the county has decided that they're changing that to Wednesday. So this Wednesday at noon, the siren here on top of the building will be tested. So spread the word so we don't get 1,000 phone calls. That's a county-wide thing, so they'll send them off throughout the county all at that time. So dispatch gets the phone calls, they at least know they're going off. So we have to manually set ours off here, so just kind of wanted to bring you up to speed on that. And also, we have a couple of Surplus computers now. The computers we have in the office, the update date on those was the year 2000. And we got those used from right past. So they're slowly dying off, and we had one crash on us this past month. And I got with the safety committee and the mayor, and we replaced those with 2 new computers. We didn't need the keyboards and the mouse and all that, because we had those to monitor. We just needed the towers. So we replaced 2 of those. So I need you all, if you would like to play with surplus so we can get rid of the computers, the monitors, or the towers themselves, we need to destroy because they could possibly have some collision-related information on personal information, so they need to be destroyed.
And since we got those from right back, you have to account for them.
Yes, I've sent in a letter that's stating we destroy them.
Yes.
But they're no longer in service, so.
Okay, chief, thank you. Need a motion to declare the 2 desktop computers as surplus and the 1 in storage.
Move that they be
I'm sorry.
declared as surplus. Sorry.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane? Yes. Bill? Ralph?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Thank you, chief. Building? Yes. Anything on building?
Well, we talked about before, having the electricity changed over and have the generators hooked up to the building, so that when the power goes out, we'd still be able to operate. I know Ralph, I think you originally was talking about that, wasn't you?
Yes.
Bringing that up, so you want to go ahead with it?
Well, the only thing I have, when I contacted Wagner Electric, and they couldn't give me any figures like we have here on this tonight, because they didn't know whether they could use the pole that's existing out there. So there were 3 different ways, and I guess there's 3 different ways we could run it. And we need to decide whether we're going to use the pole. If we do, we've got to contact DP&L because they own the pole to see if we can use it. And that makes a difference on the estimate, or whether we do it underground or an overhead some other direction.
Okay.
And then we had the other. Everybody's got it. It's
That's
from
what
the-
I think Chris got from somebody, didn't
Yeah.
Yeah.
he? And on here, I didn't see whether that was a determination factor or not about using the existing pole or.
He discussed that a little bit, and then he also asked us about trenching across the road.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's the same way with
Yeah.
the guy that I talked to from Wagner.
Yeah.
Does everybody have a copy of that?
I don't think they did. I just passed that on to Ralph.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Read that out, Rick, so everybody knows.
Okay, from Bader Mechanical Service is their ballpark figures on the general services to the building. Option 1, put both buildings on 1 electrical service and hook up to the existing generator, $7,500. Option 2, purchase a transfer switch that works with both services and hook up to existing generator, $25,000. Reason for the expense is the transfer switch, which costs $15,000. Option 3, purchase a separate generator and install at the end of the building, $15,000. DG said he could not do an exact quote until we picked which of the options we'd be interested in. I received a phone call from Shane Van Zant wanting to give us a bid on this too, and I told him to contact Ralph or myself, and I have not heard back from him or Secretary Udell. You haven't heard anything around it. I can't remember when that was, about 3 weeks ago. I think he contacted me 3.5 weeks ago. So I hadn't heard from him. I think it would have been or so pretty healthy numbers there, Council. I think as far as the poll, I think we could probably contact DP&L or maybe Sharon Schroeder, who we work with on the light situation with DP&L Energy. I would think maybe we could probably, I would hope that they would work with us on that one poll. But still, it's what council thinks about this $7,500 thing.
To me, I think that makes more sense if they had their options by far. So here, since the DPA is here, he's president of DP3, I'd like to ask him if he would be interested in going ahead with us on that.
Or I would imagine, yeah, that's what you guys want to do.
That would cut the cost in half and make it easy for us. That way, actually your employees work out of this building too.
Yeah, exactly.
And all your trucks and cars and everything else is here too. So, that would make it a little bit easier on both of us and not have to take the brunt of it. And,
The only thing, and I'm sure it's probably not a problem, but I never really thought about it. But I don't think EPA, has any jurisdiction over our generators
No, they
as
don't.
far as that plant goes.
No.
I don't know.
the generators themselves are strong enough that they can actually run this town. They've already been, we checked in this before, they were rated up to strong enough that they didn't go away and they can handle quite easily.
Yeah, well, our water keeps working out of this building too. So,
To me, it's a safety factor not to have this building done because when something happens, we're done. We're done. So,
I don't know a whole lot about this. In fact, this is about as much as I can get. If we put everything on one electrical service, is it going to make a difference to splitting up the bill?
well, that was a question I had too. I brought that up and I asked the chief, and the chief said that we could put on a digital box that would actually,
We can get a remote reader, is what
Okay,
it's called,
okay.
where.
So you can see who's
Yes.
doing what.
One, like if we put it on this building, then whenever we get the bill, we can walk in there, read the numbers on it, and tell how much usage, like this building or, that area, either one. That's not included in that estimate, but they're not really expensive, $400 or $500 for the.
I think it's just got to have to be done.
which,
Right, so-
that would be the smart way to
Yeah.
go.
We can do that way if it comes to a point where we need to figure out, how much we're using here, or BPA, wants to know how much they're using out there. If we put one of those in either location, we can always figure that out.
Did you know what one place we need to just
Right.
take it off
Yeah,
the phone?
yeah, then take that
I
off the
got you.
bill. So, yeah, that's the only downfall of it, is that we have to combine the service to get away from that $15,000
Yes.
transfer switch.
So if we go with option one, are we going to get an additional quote then? Payer's going to re-quote it?
I would suggest that we get an additional quote, and we need to contact EPNL, and I would suggest also get a couple more bids out there from somebody to see where it stands.
The overhead would probably be less expensive than burying, wouldn't it?
I would certainly hope so.
Wouldn't it, Chris?
Yeah, and then we wouldn't have to trench across the driveway.
And that's the way it was originally, when we talked about, when we were originally going that direction. And at that time, DPL didn't have a problem with that, on using the phone.
But we'd have to get it
Yeah.
in contact and get it in writing, as
Sure.
the direction of council would like to proceed with this thing, if at all. So here's a basic number, we're looking at at least $7,500 if we get permission from DP&L, or another bid could be less.
I think it
Then
was
we split
stated,
between us.
And if we split it between us, that
That's
might be
even
less.
that.
did you say the last estimate was between 4,000 and 6,000?
It was about 6,000, if I remember right, a few years ago, is what it came out to.
Is council's wishes to proceed and contact DP&L on the poll and then next meeting, ask for some more bids between now and next meeting? Is that what the council
I
is?
move that we go ahead and follow up on these things, so we can go ahead with this.
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Mary Kay?
The building committee
And I
will
want to say one more thing. Kevin, you want to go ahead and talk to BPA about this, and Jim, Mary, bring this out, so you get this straightened out with them, so that,
Yeah, I'll bring it up next meeting.
Okay, if the building committee would follow through with this, we'll
Yeah.
look and see what you get on next meeting.
We have one. I'm going to, right now, here's one.
Streets,
really, I don't see we have anything to talk about on the streets.
got a lot of potholes, we got,
Other than
Fix.
that, Cherry Street's absolutely terrible, I don't know what we can do about that.
Leave them like that, they're good speed bumps.
You think so?
they are
Slow it
that,
down.
they are.
You'll slow down the
We
road.
can't slow them down any other way, maybe we can slow them down with the,
Okay.
Lights,
nothing.
finance,
No, we just got things we're working on, but we're not ready to
okay.
do anything yet.
Sanitation,
138 North Washington Street has been sold, the property's been sold, and people are living in there. And my son works for Rumpke, and he told us tonight that Rumpke has bought out DP Disposal. Don't know when the transaction's going to be yet.
PC, you mean?
PC, yeah, we're gonna put DP on it.
That answers our question. You better get it.
I'm sorry.
So when's that supposed to? You
I
when
don't
that's
know,
gonna take place?
no details.
I need a new can anyway. PC is finally busted anyway, Rumpke will take it over anyhow.
That's all I have.
They'll have the whole town.
you know, we still need to think about revisiting the trash thing from a few years ago, we had on there. I mean, people would have saved money as soon as they didn't sign up for it, the rates went higher. The money they would already saved. I think there's still an avenue there for savings for the village to revisit that.
Also in sanitation, Mary Jane, I asked the police chief, there were several cars around town that had been sitting for months and hadn't been moved, and I asked him to send a letter to these people to move their vehicles. He did, they have been moved, which I'm glad.
Yeah, I got a few
So-
phone calls.
Absolutely, well, you know.
I'm
hey,
glad you called me and warned me, I knew what to tell them.
Well, you know, the law's the law, and it is as it is.
Yeah,
You know, if you start letting them sit around everywhere else, then they just start piling up, and before long, you got cars sitting in the frame yards on the jack stands and everything else.
thanks for
So,
the
thanks,
help.
chief, thank you very much for taking care of that, appreciate it.
Thanks for the help. I appreciate it. I don't get out like I used to.
Planning, BPA, other than what we're going to discuss later? Nothing. Flood insurance. Flood insurance renewal is due April 10th. We need to decide whether we want to increase the coverage to $165 and make the premium $3,006, or keep the same coverage of $150,000, making the premium $27.95 per year, which is a $220 increase from last year. Council's wishes on this?
I don't see why we would want to raise it.
I don't either. Any further discussion on where the direction we want to go? I mean, we gotta have it, so. If not, I need a motion to renew the policy on the flood insurance at the quote of $27.95 per year as due April 10th.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Bill? Kathy?
Yes.
JEMA's one-year review will be due next month. And that would be you, just me.
Just you.
I'll bring that to the table next month. And at that point, I would like to go into executive session to discuss policy changes. And we'll need a motion to do so.
I move that we go to executive session to discuss policy, personnel policy.
Second. Roll call, please.
Joe?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Bill? Mary Jane?
Yes.
And I would ask BPA to